Babylon, name itself, conjures images of opulence and power. Once, it was the heart of an empire, a city that echoed with the sounds of bustling markets, scholarly debates, and grand ceremonies. Situated along the fertile banks of the Euphrates River, Babylon wasn't just a city, it was a legend in its own time, renowned for its extraordinary achievements in architecture, law, and culture. Imagine a city where colossal walls protected palatial structures and where the splendor of the hanging gardens captivated all who gazed upon them. This was Babylon, rising to power under King Hammurabi, the great lawgiver, and later reaching unprecedented heights during the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II. Here, the Babylonians mastered astronomy and mathematics and crafted one of the earliest known codes of law. This city was a hub of intellectual brilliance and artistic beauty, radiating its influence across the ancient Near East. But then, as swiftly as it had risen, Babylon fell. Its streets grew silent, its palaces crumbled, and its people faded into history. How could a civilization so advanced, so influential, disappear so completely? What forces conspired to bring down the might of Babylon, leaving it as little more than a memory etched into the sands of time? The answers are elusive, shrouded in the fog of history and obscured by the passage of millennia. Today, we embark on a journey to unravel this enigma. We'll delve into ancient texts, sift through archaeological evidence, and explore the theories that attempt to explain the fall of this once great empire. Was Babylon's collapse the result of military conquest, economic decline, environmental disaster, or perhaps something more enigmatic? Join us as we peel back the layers of time, uncovering the secrets buried beneath the ruins. If the mysteries of the past captivate your imagination, if you seek to understand the forces that have shaped human history, then subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon to join our community of explorers, because the story of Babylon is not just a tale of the ancient world, it's a mirror reflecting the complexities of our own time. Understanding the past can illuminate our future. Babylon's rise to power was nothing short of extraordinary. Around 1894 BC, what began as a modest port town along the Euphrates River soon blossomed into one of the most influential cities of the ancient world. It was a city destined for greatness, destined to carve its name into the annals of history. The transformation of Babylon from a humble town to a mighty empire accelerated under the rule of King Hammurabi in the 18th century BC. A visionary leader, Hammurabi expanded Babylon's territory through both diplomacy and military conquest. But his most enduring legacy was not forged on the battlefield, but in the courts of law. Hammurabi's code was revolutionary, a comprehensive legal system that sought to bring order and justice to his diverse and expanding empire. It encompassed laws on trade, property, family, and crime, embodying the principle of retribution. An eye for an eye, it declared, setting a precedent for legal systems to come. This code didn't just govern the people, it solidified Babylon's reputation as a beacon of law, governance, and fairness in a world often dominated by might alone. Yet Babylon's greatness was not limited to its laws and rulers. It was a cradle of culture and learning. The Babylonians were pioneers in mathematics, developing a base 60 number system that laid the groundwork for our modern understanding of time and geometry. Their astronomers meticulously charted the stars, recording celestial movements that would inform both agriculture and astrology. In Babylon's libraries, knowledge was preserved and expanded. They studied the heavens with an unparalleled passion, seeking to understand the mysteries of the cosmos and the will of the gods. Their achievements in astronomy were foundational, influencing future civilizations from Greece to Persia. But perhaps the most enduring symbol of Babylonian ingenuity and grandeur was the Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Though shrouded in mystery, these gardens are said to have been a verdant paradise, an engineering marvel that brought the lushness of nature into the heart of the city. Elevated above the arid landscape, they demonstrated the Babylonians' ability to harness and manipulate their environment, defying the harshness of the desert surrounding them. Through an ingenious network of aqueducts and pumps, the Babylonians created a botanical wonder. It was a testament to their mastery of both nature and technology, a symbol of a civilization that could bend the elements to its will. For the Babylonians, the gardens were not just a display of wealth and power, but an expression of harmony with the natural world. In its prime, Babylon was more than an empire. It was a beacon of human potential, a place where laws governed kings, knowledge flourished, and architecture touched the heavens. But as with all great civilizations, its rise was the beginning of a journey. What lay ahead would test Babylon's resilience and reveal the fragile balance upon which all empires rest. Behold Babylon under the rule of King Nebuchadnezzar II, the greatest king of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. In the 6th century BC, this city stood at the apex of its power and splendor. It was a city unlike any other, a beacon of human achievement, a marvel of architectural ingenuity, and the epicenter of the ancient world. Under Nebuchadnezzar's vision, Babylon was transformed into a metropolis that both dazzled and intimidated all who beheld it. Standing before the Ishtar Gate, visitors to Babylon were greeted by a masterpiece of ancient art and engineering. Constructed from thousands of glazed bricks, the gate was adorned with depictions of the gods, Marduk, the protector of Babylon, and Adad, the storm god. Its grandeur was not merely decorative, it was a statement. It proclaimed Babylon's power, its divine protection, and its unparalleled status as the heart of a mighty empire. Within the city walls, Babylon thrived as a center of culture, trade, and learning. Markets buzzed with activity, overflowing with goods from the far corners of the empire, spices, textiles, gold, and precious stones. Scholars and priests engaged in fervent study, inscribing tablets with knowledge that spanned from astronomy to medicine. This was a city where knowledge was power, and power was absolute. Beyond the city, Nebuchadnezzar's vision extended to the very land itself. Through a sophisticated network of canals and irrigation, the Babylonians turned the arid plains into a fertile oasis. The legendary Hanging Gardens, said to have been built by Nebuchadnezzar for his queen, rose like a lush green mountain amidst the desert, a testament to Babylon's ability to defy nature and reshape the world around it. But Babylon's splendor was not only built on knowledge and trade, it was forged in the crucible of conquest. Under Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon expanded its reach, asserting dominance from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea. The Babylonian army, a formidable force, swept across the lands, subjugating kingdoms and bringing back the wealth of nations. Babylonian might was felt far and wide as cities fell and their treasures flowed into the empire's coffers. Tribute flowed into Babylon, and with it came the recognition of its supremacy. Foreign kings bowed before Nebuchadnezzar, offering treasures and allegiance to avoid the wrath of Babylon's military machine. The empire was at its zenith, its influence stretching across vast territories. The name Babylon became synonymous with power, wealth, and unassailable might. Yet even at the height of its glory, subtle cracks began to appear within the empire's golden facade. Nebuchadnezzar's conquests brought not only wealth, but also the seeds of discontent. As the empire expanded, so did the challenges of maintaining control. The grandeur of Babylon was matched by the weight of its responsibilities, and whispers of unrest began to echo through the corridors of power. Babylon, in all its splendor, stood at a precipice. It had reached a point where the balance of power, wealth, and control teetered on a knife's edge. The very forces that had elevated Babylon to its apex now threatened to unravel it. The empire was at its height, but as history has often shown, every apex carries the seeds of decline. The seeds of decline. Empires rise and empires fall. The sands of history are littered with the remnants of once mighty civilizations. Babylon, despite its grandeur, was no exception. After the death of King Nebuchadnezzar II, the empire entered a period of decline, where the seeds of its own downfall had already been sown. With Nebuchadnezzar's passing, Babylon lost not just a king, but its unifying force. He had been a ruler of vision and iron will, one who had held the empire together through strength and fear. Now, a series of weak and ineffective rulers would take the throne, each more inept than the last. The court, once a place of order and governance, devolved into a battleground for political power. Internal strife spread like a disease, weakening the very fabric of Babylonian society. The powerful elite, once united under a common cause, now fought amongst themselves for control. As the empire's attention turned inward, the cracks in its foundation widened. Babylon, once a city of strength, now teetered on the edge of chaos. Hanankia, as the rulers weakened, so did the central authority. The throne of Babylon, once the seat of absolute power, became a puppet to the ambitions of the court. With each passing ruler, the empire grew more fragmented. Governors, once loyal to the crown, now acted in their own interests. Regional factions rose, challenging the authority of the central government, further fracturing the unity that Nebuchadnezzar had so fiercely maintained. While Babylon quarreled within, a new power was rising in the east, the Persian Empire, led by the shrewd and ambitious Cyrus the Great. As Babylon's internal conflicts raged on, the Persians watched and waited, recognizing the empire's growing vulnerability. The once mighty Babylon was now seen as ripe for the taking. In 539 BC, Cyrus the Great launched his campaign against Babylon. It was a conquest that would be remembered not for its fierce battles, but for the lack thereof. Babylon, weakened from within, offered little resistance. As the Persians advanced, they encountered gates that opened rather than resisted, and walls that did not defend, but surrendered. Through cunning strategy, the Persians diverted the Euphrates River, lowering its waters and creating a path into the heart of Babylon. In the dead of night, Persian soldiers slipped into the city, encountering a Babylon that had already succumbed to its fate. Babylon did not fall in a blaze of glory. It was taken in silence, a once mighty empire subdued not by force, but by its own decay. The fall of Babylon to Cyrus was not merely a military conquest. It was the culmination of years of internal erosion. The Persian victory was swift, almost effortless, for Babylon had already lost the will to fight. Its empire, which had once stretched across vast lands, crumbled not because of the might of its enemies, but because of the weakness within. Was the Persian conquest the final blow, or simply the inevitable end to an empire that had long been in decline? Babylon, in all its glory and splendor, was brought to its knees not by the might of its enemies, but by the frailty of its own power. The seeds of its downfall were planted long before the Persians arrived, sown in the soil of ambition, division, and internal strife. Theories behind the disappearance: military conquest and overextension. One of the most compelling theories behind Babylon's downfall lies in its sheer size and ambition. The Babylonian Empire, under rulers like Hammurabi and Nebuchadnezzar II, grew to encompass a vast array of territories. From the fertile lands of Mesopotamia to the arid deserts of the Near East, the Babylonians sought to expand their dominion. But with each new conquest, the demands on the empire grew exponentially. Maintaining such a sprawling empire required a relentless military presence. Garrisons were established in every corner of the empire, and the Babylonian army was stretched thin, constantly on the move to quell rebellions and defend against encroaching enemies. The once mighty Babylonian military became a shadow of its former self, tired, overburdened, and unable to effectively defend the heart of the empire. When the Persians finally marched upon Babylon, they encountered an empire already weakened from within. The Babylonians, stretched across their vast territories, could not muster the strength to mount a significant defense. The city's formidable walls, which had repelled so many invaders before, now stood as a silent witness to the inevitable. Babylon had overextended its reach, and in doing so, had sealed its own fate: economic decline and resource depletion. Babylon's economy was the lifeblood of its empire. Agriculture flourished along the banks of the Euphrates, feeding not just the city, but the entire region. Trade caravans traversed the deserts, bringing wealth and goods from across the ancient world. Yet, as Babylon reached its zenith, cracks began to appear in its economic foundation. Trade routes, the arteries of the empire, began to shift. New powers emerged, redirecting the flow of wealth away from Babylon. Agriculture, the cornerstone of the Babylonian economy, faced challenges as environmental conditions changed. Droughts struck the region, and the once fertile lands around Babylon began to falter. The Euphrates, essential for irrigation, became unreliable, and with it, the food supply dwindled. Cultural and religious shifts. The Babylonians were deeply religious, their lives intertwined with the worship of deities who governed every aspect of existence. The gods, particularly Marduk, were the ultimate arbiters of Babylon's fate. Temples and ziggurats were not just architectural marvels, they were the heart of Babylonian society, places where the divine touched the mortal realm. However, with the Persian conquest came not just new rulers, but new beliefs. The Persians introduced Zoroastrianism, a religion that espoused a different worldview. The once dominant Babylonian gods faced competition as the cultural fabric of the city began to fray. Religious ceremonies that had defined Babylonian identity were overshadowed by new traditions. As the old gods were supplanted, so too was the Babylonian way of life. Cultural assimilation eroded the traditional identity that had once united the Babylonians. In losing their gods, they lost a part of themselves, becoming strangers in their own city. Did Babylon fall not just to the Persians, but to the gradual erasure of its soul? Environmental and climate changes. Yet another force may have played a role in Babylon's demise, a force beyond the control of kings and armies. Environmental changes, subtle at first, began to reshape the landscape. The climate, once favorable for agriculture, grew harsher. The Euphrates River, which had been Babylon's lifeblood, changed its course, leaving the fields parched and the city struggling for sustenance. Desertification crept in like a silent invader. Crops failed, water became scarce, and food shortages became the norm. As the countryside could no longer sustain its population, a rural exodus began, with people flocking to the city in desperation. But Babylon, already strained, could not support the influx. Nature, indifferent to the ambitions of man, may have delivered the final blow to Babylon. The once thriving metropolis became a city of despair. As the environment turned against them, the Babylonians faced a reality they could not conquer, a world that had grown hostile to their existence. Archaeological evidence. Babylon, a name that still evokes awe and wonder. While the empire itself has faded into the annals of history, its echoes remain embedded in the earth. Archaeology has become the key to unlocking Babylon's secrets, allowing us to piece together a civilization that thrived, faltered, and ultimately faded into legend. Archaeological excavations in Babylon have uncovered a wealth of artifacts, pottery, tools, weapons, and tablets, each fragment a whisper from the past. These relics provide a glimpse into the daily lives of the Babylonians, from the grand rituals in the temples to the mundane tasks in the bustling markets. They speak of a people who, despite the looming shadows of decline, continued to live, to build, and to worship. Inscriptions and records, traces of transition. Among the most revealing artifacts are the cuneiform tablets, Babylon's written records. These inscriptions are more than just words on clay. They are the voices of the past, recounting events, transactions, and decrees. They tell us of a city grappling with change, facing external threats while striving to maintain its traditions and way of life. In the tablets from the era of the Persian conquest, we find tales of a city caught in transition. Edicts from Cyrus the Great speak of tolerance and integration, suggesting a smooth handover of power. Yet, beneath the surface, there are hints of tension and uncertainty. These records reflect a society trying to reconcile its storied past with an uncertain future, revealing a Babylon that was both resilient and resigned. The ruins speak a city in decline. While the ruins of Babylon stand silent, they whisper tales of a city that once pulsed with life. Archaeologists have reconstructed scenes from Babylon's decline, revealing a metropolis in the throes of transformation. The grand ziggurats still loom over the cityscape, but the bustling markets and majestic temples are replaced by decay and abandonment. Each layer of earth reveals a chapter in Babylon's story. The lower strata show a city in its prime, filled with evidence of wealth and power. As we ascend through the layers, a different picture emerges. We see the telltale signs of Persian influence, new styles of pottery, changes in construction techniques, and the gradual assimilation of a culture that was once fiercely Babylonian. Artifacts of daily life, a glimpse into the past. The grand narratives of kings and conquerors often overshadow the lives of ordinary people. Yet, it is through these smaller, everyday artifacts that we catch a glimpse of the Babylonian spirit. Jewelry, intricately designed and surprisingly modern, suggests a society that valued beauty and artistry. Simple clay bowls worn smooth by use tell of meals shared, of families that lived in the shadow of empires. These relics bridge the gap between the monumental and the mundane. They remind us that Babylon was more than its rulers and wars. It was a place where people lived their lives, loved, worked, worshipped, and dreamed. Even as the empire crumbled, life in the city continued. It is this resilience, this tenacity in the face of change, that the artifacts of Babylon whisper to us across the millennia. The Ishtar Gate, symbol of past glory. The Ishtar Gate stands as a testament to Babylon's glory. Its blue-glazed bricks and reliefs of mythical creatures speak of a city that celebrated its gods and its might. But today, the gate is a fragment of what it once was, a symbol not just of Babylon's power, but of its transience. In its prime, the Ishtar Gate was more than an entrance. It was a statement. It declared Babylon's dominance, its wealth, and its devotion to the gods. Now, as we stand before its ruins, we are reminded of the impermanence of human achievement. The gate, like Babylon itself, has weathered the sands of time, standing both as a monument to what was and a reminder of what can be lost. The continuing search, uncovering Babylon's secrets. The quest to uncover Babylon's secrets is far from over. Modern technology has become the archaeologist's new chisel and brush. LiDAR scans pierce the earth, revealing hidden structures, while satellite imagery offers a bird's-eye view of the ancient city, hinting at secrets yet to be unearthed. Each new discovery adds a piece to the puzzle, reshaping our understanding of Babylon's rise and fall. The city's ruins may stand silent, but through archaeology, we continue to hear its echoes. Babylon's story is not just about the past, it is about the enduring human quest to understand our origins, our failures, and the forces that shape our destiny. The legacy of Babylon. Babylon, the city that once stood as the epitome of power, wisdom, and culture. Today, its ruins lie silent in the sands of Mesopotamia, yet the legacy of this great civilization continues to echo through the corridors of history. Babylon may have fallen, but it left behind a blueprint for the ages, a testament to the heights of human achievement and the depths of human frailty. In the libraries of ancient Babylon, scholars inscribed the secrets of the stars onto clay tablets, laying the foundations for astronomy. In its courts, laws were etched into stone, forging a legal legacy that would influence civilizations for millennia. Its artists and architects created wonders that still inspire awe, while its myths and stories continue to captivate our imaginations. Babylon was not just a city, it was an idea, a concept of what human civilization could achieve at its zenith. Lessons from the fall. But the story of Babylon is not merely one of glory, it is also a story of decline. Its fall is a haunting reminder of the impermanence that shadows even the greatest of civilizations. As we look at our own world, our cities, our achievements, we are compelled to ask, what led to Babylon's demise, and could we be walking a similar path? The theories behind Babylon's decline are as varied as they are instructive. Was it the overextension of empire, a common pitfall for great powers? Was it economic fragility, where the lifeblood of trade and agriculture ran dry? Or was it the inevitable shift of cultures and ideologies, sweeping away the old to make room for the new? Perhaps it was a confluence of all these forces, a perfect storm that no empire, no matter how mighty, could weather, the eternal symbol of Babylon. Yet even in its fall, Babylon did not vanish. It transformed, becoming a symbol, an eternal reminder of both the grandeur and the transience of human endeavor. Babylon's story is etched not only in the ruins, but in the very fabric of our world. Its influence can be traced in our systems of law, in our pursuit of knowledge, and in the very way we build and conceive our cities. Babylon's spirit lives on in every law that seeks justice, in every scholar who looks to the stars for answers, and in every builder who dreams of touching the sky. Its story is a mosaic of human aspiration, a mirror reflecting our own hopes, ambitions, and fears. A cautionary tale for the modern world. But Babylon is also a cautionary tale. It reminds us that no matter how advanced or powerful a civilization may become, it is not immune to the forces of change. The very factors that once fueled Babylon's rise, its ambition, its quest for power, its ability to harness the land, also sowed the seeds of its decline. Today, we face our own set of challenges, global, interconnected, and complex. The question is, will we heed the lessons of Babylon, or will history repeat itself? Babylon's legacy is not just one of triumph, but of humility. It teaches us that even the greatest achievements must be balanced with wisdom and foresight. As we stand at the crossroads of our own era, Babylon whispers to us from the past, urging us to reflect, to learn, and to build a future that honors the lessons of history. The enduring spirit of Babylon. Babylon may be buried beneath the sands, but its spirit endures. It calls to those who seek to understand, to learn, to dream. As long as we are willing to listen, to dig deeper, and to uncover the truths of our past, the story of Babylon will continue to inspire and guide us. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the rise and fall of Babylon. If this exploration into history's mysteries has sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us unearth more stories from the past that shape our understanding of the present and future.